I went from 0 to over 50,000 subscribers last year by running my own little digital bookstore. And I went from working over 80 hours per week, getting no views, to now only working on my channel 2 days per week, making videos that I love and making great money doing so. And in this video, I'll show you exactly how you can do the same, because all it takes is just you turning that one thing that you love the most, that you're really good at, into one YouTube video per week, broken down into 3 sections. You see, your channel is like a book, and YouTube is the bookstore. There are thousands of channels putting videos in front of your viewers all the time, just like a bookstore. And when someone goes in to buy a book, 90% of the time, they know exactly what they're looking for. Maybe they want to learn how to fix a car. Maybe they want to learn a little bit more about money, or maybe they want that next copy of Game of Thrones. YouTube works the same way. Either the viewer comes in wanting to be entertained, or they want to be educated on a certain topic. And that is the key. Now, let's say that you walk into a bookstore and you see a book titled The Everything Book. How to cook, work out, make money online, make YouTube videos, learn about dinosaurs, etc. You are most likely not going to get that book. You are much more likely to buy a book like this that teaches you about YouTube. And that's because it was made specifically for you. Your YouTube channel is a book, and you need to make it about one topic. And the way to do this is actually quite simple. It looks like this. Your channel is your book title, and your videos are your chapters. For example, my channel is about YouTube growth, and every single video that I make is about a specific part of growing on YouTube. Titles, thumbnails, storytelling, these are all chapters that you would find inside of a YouTube growth book. And your channel is the same. But in order to actually get people to watch your content, you first need to understand content gaps. Because if your channel looks the same as everyone else, then unfortunately no one has any reason to watch, which leads to you getting less and less views on each video. But once you understand how to leverage content gaps, it will allow you to make a unique channel that blows up almost instantly. Now, what are content gaps? A content gap is where you have higher demand than supply for a certain type of video. For example, let's say that you make videos about sports. There's a lot of people who like basketball, but there's also a lot of people who make videos about basketball on YouTube. High demand, high supply. But pickleball, even though it has a little bit less demand than basketball, still has really high demand. Except that there are not a ton of content creators who actually make content about pickleball. High demand, low supply. You can also have content gaps within niches. For example, in the basketball niche, there might be a lot of broad basketball channels, but for channels specifically about dribbling, there may not be that many. Now that you've identified a content gap, how do you attack it and win? It all comes down to answering 4 questions. And the first question that we really need to answer is, where do you fit inside of your space? So you need to figure out what you can consistently talk about within your space. So that comes down to age, right? So how old is your person? So for me, my average viewer is roughly, let's say 21. That is my average viewer age. And then we have their interests, right? So for me, their interest would be YouTube. What do they like and love? They like to get views, right? They want subscribers. So you really should analyze this for yourself and then figure out what they hate as well, right? So my viewers hate waking up with no new subscribers, so no subs. They also do not like being stuck in the small YouTuber trap, right? So stuck being small. The next question you have to ask yourself is, how do you disrupt your market? Because after you figure out where you fit, you need to figure out, how do you actually stand out? And what I like to do is I like to look at my competition. You know, what are they doing actually editing wise, right? Let's say most of my competition has edits that are a 5 out of 10. Then we have cinematography. Most YouTube growth channels don't have crazy cinematography, so we can put that one as like a 2 out of 10. Next, we also have storytelling. And most YouTube growth channels have a decent storytelling. I'd say probably 5 out of 10. So we could also put stuff like scripting. Scripting is 5 out of 10. Speaking, 4 out of 10. So we can basically rank where everyone else in the market is at, right? And then figure out how we want to disrupt that. We're going to cut this 5 out of 10 on editing and take this to a 10 out of 10. Then cinema, we don't really need crazy cinematography. That's also a lot of work. So we'll just leave that one as is. Don't really need to change that one. And now what we are doing is we are going to hit the market with a new kind of style that no one's really ever seen before. And this is exactly how you disrupt the market on YouTube. So our third question is your problem. You want to build your channel around a singular problem. And this is super important. So what is my problem? It is, how do I get 100,000 subscribers? And you can tell that this is exactly what my whole channel is based around. So figure out, what problem do you really want to solve that you think not many people are solving for right now? And a great way to find this out is just ask, what is the biggest problem that people are facing inside of my niche? Next, number 4, and this one's extremely important, is what is your backstory? So right here, this one is paramount. The thing that makes you stand out is your story. So you want to use this in every video. You want to use it 24/7. So for example, on my channel, what I could say is before I knew how to make good thumbnails, I was struggling every single day to get views and subscribers, right? But as soon as I figured this thing out, it made it so much easier to get a lot of views because YouTube actually started pushing my content. So you see how I just use my story, and it makes it a lot more interesting because people are hearing a unique perspective from you, not just the same information that they've been told 100 times. So now that you know where you fit in your market, there's a specific strategy that you should follow in order to make your first 4 videos. And if you do this right, it can blow you up to your first 1,000 subscribers before the month is over. Just like it did on this exact channel, taking me from 0 subscribers to over 1,000 in under 30 days. And the first video that you can make in order to fast track your success on YouTube is actually newsjacking. So taking new news that's just broken within your industry, starting to make content around that and getting to it as fast as possible. You can actually use this to blow up a brand new channel very, very fast because you don't need an existing viewership in order for a lot of people to be interested and click on it. If you have the opportunity, I would recommend making these. The next is another really interesting type of video called growth hacking, where you're essentially linking yourself to a bigger creator within your niche and talking about something that they have done or they have taught. And so with these growth hacking videos, a really good example of this is a cold email company called Instantly AI. Instantly is just like a cold email software, and they made a video talking about Alex Hormozi's cold email strategy. That video went on to get a lot of views, and it allowed them to absolutely blow up within their niche, even though it's a very, very small niche because they took advantage of a big name. The next type of video is a lot more effective long-term than the first 2, and that is evergreen videos. Now, these are deep dives with tons of quality info, credibility, stories that you tell, and they're usually 30 to 40 minute longer videos where you're diving super deep into a topic that someone would be interested in for a long time. So let's say I made a 40-minute video about how to grow on YouTube, how to go from 0 to 100,000 subscribers. That video would probably do very well long-term. And a really good concept for this is how to do X thing that your audience wants in 2026, step by step, right? And just walk them through a full guide, breaking down exactly step by step how to do the thing that they want and just packaging it and then posting it. But these are just the basics of what will allow you to blow up your channel. And that's why I made a free YouTube course with over 6 hours of content showing you everything that you need to know in order to go from 0 to over 100,000 subscribers in 2026. So click right here where I show you what it is, how it works, and how you can get access to blow up your YouTube channel in 2026. Thanks and have a great day.
All right, so I'm currently at my dashboard on smmshiba.com, and do not get confused by the website names. SMM Shiba and SMM Dodge are actually the same website. So all you have to do once you've created yourself an account here is to go on list, click on this category icon, select, and here you want to select something, basically any option that says from with video. So I'm going to choose this one right here. And this should be already fine, 2014, 2017, yeah. Now I'm gonna click on buy, confirm, and now you can go onto your product orders and you will see this is pending. All right, the order is now completed. This didn't even take 2 minutes. What you want to do now is you want to copy that ID, and we want to be organized, right? Especially if we have multiple channels, you will not find them again. So make sure to save it somewhere.